A human is nothing more than the total sum of its experiences. Thinking of us like that, it's only natural that some of those experiences are more impactful to us than others. For better or worse, they are what shape us. Think back to a hopefully simpler time. You, sitting in front of a TV screen, controller in hand, as the light shines off you. Your first game. Do you remember it? Or is it too far gone a memory to recall? And if that is the case, how come you still play to this day despite that? Was that forgotten experience so profound it carried on past the faded memory? It must have been truly special then, because I know it was for me. I don't remember what my first game was, even though as far back as I can recall, I've always had a game or another to play. But if I had to guess, it was either Super Mario Bros. On the NES, Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64, or Lemmings on the PC. Yeah, that's what a PC looked like back in the day. Good luck repairing the floor if you dropped it. Point is, it's just too far back for me to properly remember. This was at a time before I achieved consciousness, after all. It was all just vague impressions, like I was passively watching a movie with no control. Then it happened. Boom! I turned 4 years old, and I could think. I remember my first thoughts clearly.
How old am I?
I never said it was a deep thought. Thanks to my newfound brain power, gaming took on a new meaning to me. It was no longer a thing, but the thing. And to usher in this new age was what I consider to be my first true video game. Sonic Heroes. I didn't know what the hell a Sonic was. I just knew he was blue and that was enough. And upon playing the thing, I was right. He could talk, he could run super fast, he had 2 friends, Red Guy and Tails. One was strong, the other could fly somehow, and they were the best, and this was the best game ever! Except it wasn't. There's this thing we do with things that we like. We ignore the obvious flaws and criticisms as if it's not even there. And Sonic Heroes was that case to me. The characters were sliding, the levels could drag on for far too long, and the Chaos Emerald bonus stage felt impossible. And that was how you could unlock the final boss too. To this day, I still haven't beaten him, because I haven't bothered to. At some point, I just put the game down and never picked it up again. Today, Sonic Heroes is a game I wouldn't play, even though I have fond memories of my time with it. My adventures, however, with Nintendo's Blue Lunchbox continue, with Nintendo's colorful characters, never-ending stories, like an eternal Saturday morning cartoon.
Hey, excuse me, princess.
Up until my next big game, but on a different console this time. The PSP's Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. It was a pack-in title with the PSP. This was my entry into both the Sony and Final Fantasy worlds. And I had never experienced a game like this with Nintendo. Sure, Zack was goofy like some Nintendo characters, but he also had problems, negative feelings, dreams, and struggles. I just couldn't help but root for Zack in a way I never had with any video game character before that. Because at the end of the day, Mario will always defeat Bowser, Link will always defeat Ganondorf, and Kirby will always suck. Yeah, you heard me. But Zack felt different from them. Vulnerable, fragile, human. And it was this affinity I had for him that was so devastating in the end. It was the first time I had cried to a video game. The story had drawn me in and tore me to pieces by the end of it. And there was nothing I can do to stop it. Trust me, I tried. Video games had changed for me again. They could be so much more than just fun. They could evoke emotion out of me. Following on from Crisis Core was a Mass Effect, and it was just as devastating as Crisis Core, but for different reasons. I jumped on the Mass Effect hype train right before the release of the third game. I quickly caught up and immediately knew the difference. Zack's fate in Crisis Core was sealed before you even picked up the controller, but Mass Effect was different. You controlled the adventure. You decided who you would like, who you would hate, who lived, and who died. And I was ready this time. I wouldn't be caught off guard like with Crisis Core. I was ready to break. Only to end up with all my choices up until that point null and void. In an ending that boils down to, what color do you like? I was furious. What was the point of any of that? Why even play Mass Effect in the first place? That ending sucks to this day. F***ing EA. They f***ed it. They f***ed it so bad I never wanted to play it ever again. So 9 years later, when they released Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I bought it day one. But EA's evil didn't end there. They censored Miranda's ass! Bastards! I'll never forgive them! I'll never... Fond experiences. Emotional experiences. Frustrating experiences. A video game can be any of that and more if you just lower your guard and let it in. Case in and the last point. But some backstory first. This happened at a time in my life where I was just miserable. I was working a dead-end job with coworkers I didn't care for pay that wasn't worth it, at a time when I first discovered I was losing my hair. To top it all off, summer was approaching. I hate summer where I live. It gets too hot, too humid, and 80% of the jobs here are customer service. That means you're gonna sweat the entire shift in front of them. Most business owners here also don't invest in air conditioning. They use fans. It's cheaper that way. Gaming-wise, I had recently gotten my hands on a PS Vita, Sony's failed PSP successor. By that point, it was already an off-the-shelf relic worth less than $80. So I snagged it for my collection. My plan was to play its limited library of games throughout the summer. The first, and as it turned out, only game I played on it that summer was Persona 4 Golden, the PS Vita's best and only redeeming quality, as back then you could only play Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita and nothing else. Between work, sleep, exercise, and other stuff, I could only put 2 to 3 hours a day into Persona 4. But that was all I needed to experience it for what it was. Its story, its characters, the music, the gameplay, the Persona combination feature, the addictive, just one more day and I'll stop draw. I devoured that game from top to bottom. I purposely got the bad ending just so I could start again stronger and get the best ending possible. Then I started over for a third time and stuck with just Izanagi to see if I could use him until the end of the game. After I was finally finished and got the game over seen one more time and put down the game one last time, my own summer had ended. To this day, it is still the most profound experience I've had as a gamer of 25 plus years. All on a console most people never even owned. I will never forget that summer, that one game. And even though I say this, I will probably never go back and play Persona 4 Golden ever again. Even though it's still the same game I remember, I have changed, and so have my feelings from back then. I no longer work at that place. I no longer struggle with my image. To me, at the time, Persona 4 Golden represented a shining light during a storm in my life. To return to it now would seem almost hollow, because it was that good to me. I wouldn't want to spoil the memories from that summer. Maybe it's just nostalgia. Humans are nostalgic creatures after all. It doesn't take much to see that either. Just go to any relatively old music video and see all the good old days comment sections. Or even our current media, whether it be movies or video games, it's all just remakes and sequels from 20 years ago. Because people long, and longing sells. That's why we keep buying. And there's no reason to feel bad about it. That's just one of the qualities that makes us humans stand out from the rest. That we can look back on things with fondness and melancholy. Enjoy it while you can, as it won't last forever. Someday we will grow tired of the sequels and stagnation and move on. It happened to the Western. It happened to the platformer. It's happening to the superheroes. It's happening to the first-person shooters, for the most part. They come and they go before we even know it. Then something new comes along, like it always has in the past. All you have to do is be ready for it, as you could miss out on something genuinely special. Just be like you were at the beginning, ready to accept, because we all have that one game we can look back on and say, oh yeah, that was a damn good experience and a damn good game.